What is happening, sports fans? It's your main man, Matt, from the DFS 5-pack. I am rocking it solo. It is Sunday, May 15th. We got 8 baseball games to talk over. I love these Sunday MLB slates. No weather concerns really anywhere. Not a massive slate. Sometimes we see 10-plus games on Sunday afternoon. Today, only 8. There's a bunch of afternoon games, which is okay. We got 2 Game 7s in the NBA, so an exciting day all the way around for sports. Hopefully everyone's had a great weekend, excited to crush this Sunday. Before I hop into the MLB, let me shout out our promoter real quick, ABC Islands. If you haven't checked them out, I encourage you to do so. The link and the promo code will be in the description section of the video. A bunch of people have gone on there and already won money. I'm getting great reviews, so I recommend, I encourage, I suggest everyone check them out. It's just a new site that offers really good and cool perks. Again, the link and the promo code will be in the description section, and it cannot hurt anyone to at least check them out. That being said, we've got some baseball to talk over. I broke down the slate last time I made this video, game by game. Today I'm going to do position by position, just to switch things up, because why not? Alrighty, and we're off. So as far as pitching goes, Verlander at the top. I mean, he's one of the top pitchers in baseball. I'm not going to call him the very best, but certainly at the top of that list. 30 plus and 3 at 5. He's been better on the road this year. If that's something you want to, take into consideration, he's on the road again today. I always like Verlander. Nothing is different this afternoon. Nestor Cortez. I have not really been buying what he's selling. He's coming off an absolute gem last time out against the Rangers. I'm not going to use him today against the White Sox. I actually like a couple White Sox bats, but that's more for tournament purposes. In cash games, can't really see using Cortez over Verlander, Manoah, Woodruff, etc. So he is more of a tournament pitcher, just not a guy I'm on. Speaking of Manoah, coming off a rough outing against the Guardians last time out, the Guardians make you work and they don't strike out a lot, so we'll give them a mulligan. Now, in an easier strikeout matchup against the Rays team that does K a lot, but a much better potent lineup in the Rays that has a ton of power. So, boom bust here, but I'm a fan of Manoah's stuff, and he's wildly in play. Next up, Brandon Woodruff. For my money, right after Verlander, the best pitcher on the slate. Hasn't had the greatest of years so far, but he's too cheap. Great spot in Miami against the Marlins. He's my favorite pitcher on the slate. Getting ownership, but deservedly so. Michael Kopach, he's good. I mean, he's got a great arm, under a 1 ERA, under a 1 WHIP. He doesn't have any wins yet, which has hurt his DK game log, because that's 4 points, he could conceivably have had in a bunch of starts considering how well he's pitching. The missed spot, though, against the Yankees, not sure it's where I want to land, even though I don't think it's crazy. Joe Ryan, he came back down to earth in a big way his last 2 starts. He's now cheap-ish for where he's been at 8,400. Again, not the greatest spot in the world. And there's just too many other pitchers I like on the slate. That said, I don't think Ryan is like a crazy call, because he's better than an $8,400 pitcher. I think the same about Carrasco. He's having a great year. 20-plus basically in every start this year, but that one where he got rolled on by the Cardinals. Now facing the Mariners at home. Solid look. I like Carrasco quite a bit. I'm not sure he makes my one lineup, but wildly in play for me. Robbie Ray coming off by far the best start of his season. Dropped 30 against the Phillies at home. Now in New York, tough matchup against the Mets. He's also... I'm not completely buying what he's selling in that last start, but he's way too cheap for his 10-plus strikeout upside in any given start. So he's getting love, and I understand it. Tristan Mckenzie coming off 2 really good starts against the A's and the Blue Jays. I've always been a fan of his raw stuff. Seems to be putting it together a little bit. So many good pitchers on this slate, hard to prioritize him, but in tournaments, he wouldn't be out of my player pool either. Corey Kluber probably would be. Not that I think he's garbage now. We had 1 bad start against the Angels, coming off 2 really good starts prior to that against the A's and the Twins. Just too tough of a spot for me to want to play Kluber here. Tyler Wells, He's also been pretty solid recently. Good spot against Detroit. On a smaller slate, I'd get there. Probably limits my interest in Detroit themselves. Hunter Green, he's got electric raw stuff, but he is just not polished yet. Got lit up by the Brewers in back-to-back starts, especially in that start in Milwaukee. Pittsburgh's getting some love. It makes sense. I'd probably just stay away from both sides. Elysier Hernandez faced the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks the last 2 times out. He's not a guy I'm too interested in rolling out there today. I'd have more interest in the Miami Bats. Then we get to Tariq Skubal, who you guys know I'm a huge fan of. I mean, check the game log. Dude's got 23 plus and 4 or 5. He's got electric stuff. I called for a breakout for him this year. Now facing Baltimore. He's just way too cheap. I wish he were more expensive because he's going to be crazy popular. I think he's one I'll just eat it and try to get different elsewhere because he is just way too cheap, especially considering the spot he's in. Jose Quintana, he's been solid. I mean, 23 plus and 2 out of 4. Now gets a good matchup at home against the Reds. I get both sides of this one. I get rolling out Quintana. I also get, going with some Reds bats. Patrick Corbin, he's also been more solid than spectacular recently. A lot better than I think people would realize. He's only given up 1 home run this year. I'm not looking to roll him out there today, but Houston is chalk. So maybe that limits my interest in them, especially in tournaments. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm going to clear up something real quick. So I'm making one lineup right now. Woodruff, Skubal. A lot of good pitchers on this slate. Maybe Skubal won't be as popular as I think because of how many good arms there are, but I imagine he's going to get love. All right, let's look at the offenses real quick. So we'll do it position by position just to speed things up a little bit because it is Sunday. I know people want to get going here. The slate does start a little bit later today, which is nice. Ownership stuff real quick. Right, so as I mentioned, the Astros are getting a lot of love today. So I think we want a bunch of exposure there in cash games. As far as the catcher position goes, catcher's weak today. Maldonado, I imagine he'll be in that Houston lineup. He is not a good hitter, but he's in that stack and he's 2,700. If you're looking for an actual good hitter here, I think Gary Sanchez is probably the guy in cash games. Swinging a hot bat right now, affordable, facing Mckenzie. And then Omar Narvaez. Milwaukee's in a good spot. He's got 33 DK points over his last 2 games. 4 for 8 with a couple doubles and a bomb. Yeah, I like Narvaez. I like the Milwaukee stack here. And then in tournaments, I mentioned I like the White Sox. And it doesn't really seem that crazy to pick on Cortez with how many good pitchers there are today. Because unless you're using the obvious stacks, I think you're going to be picking on a pitcher in tournaments that you might not necessarily usually go out of your way to pick on. Catcher stinks. I like the Reds, so Aramis, Garcia, he works. Him and Grandal are probably my 2 favorite guys in tournaments with Maldonado and Sanchez and cash. All right, first base. Gurriel is going to be the chalk first baseman, but not like overwhelming. It looks like Guerrero is also going to get love. So is Rizzo. Rizzo having an outstanding year for the Yankees. Vlad is Vlad. And Gurriel, hot right now, crushes lefties, 5 for his last 9 with 3 extra base hits. He makes a ton of sense. I get it. On paper, he's the top first baseman on the slate. I think Pete Alonso probably goes overlooked a little bit. Massive power upside here against Robbie Ray. And the guy I like is Jose Abreu, 4,300, crushes lefties. Not having a great year, but I'm still buying his ultimate upside, and he's wildly in play for me here at projected 4% ownership. So, yeah. All right, second base. Oh, yeah, Altuve's in it, and he's leading off. So he's going to get a 5K. He's the cash second baseman. Just plug him in and move on. In tournaments, he looks good. I also like Brandon Drury, 100 more than Altuve. Won't get a lot of love, and I like the red stack. Brandon Lau leading off, even against a good pitcher, always has upside. And then Josh Harrison, like him against lefties in that wraparound stack. He's a guy I'm interested in as well. I like Milwaukee. It's just hard. Like Colt Wong at 56, it's hard to get there. Milwaukee's hella expensive, so I like them, but you really got to play if I can go out of your way for them here. Not sure I'm going to do that, even though I like them. All right, third base. Looks like J-Ram is getting a lot of love. Just missed a home run. They actually reviewed it last night, so it's not like he's cooled off or anything. I mean, he's cooled off a little bit from his absolutely torrid start, but he's still the J-Ram we know and love in play every slate he's on. Today's no exception. Bregman, the other guy, getting a lot of love. I think he's the preferred cash game option. With Drury, again, sliding right in between those guys. Moncada, I almost always prefer against righties, but he's seeing the ball well. Homer off the lefty last night. I like him quite a bit. Brian Hayes in the Pittsburgh stack getting a little bit of love. He makes sense. Moustakas, right, with Drury in that red stack. I like him a lot here. And then if Skubal ends up being like real chalk, the Baltimore stack against him. I'm a big Skubal fan, but he's not impervious to getting hit. And if he's going to be chalky in tournaments that have some, in large tournaments that have some interest in the Orioles. All right, shortstop. Pretty mixed around position with Javier Baez leading the group, projected around 18% ownership. He looks good. Adames in that Brewers stack. I can always get on board with Wander Franco, even though he's cold right now. So not the slate I'm going. Bichette I like a lot. Tim Anderson's my favorite guy in tournaments. Crushes lefties. Getting some love, but not an overwhelming amount at all. Shortstop stinks today, too. So I think Baez in cash, Anderson in tournaments. All right, outfield, kind of a mishmash of guys getting a lot of love. So Buxton always is going to be popular. I want to make sure I didn't miss the lineup. Let's see. Buxton always going to be popular. Yordan Alvarez, even lefty on lefty, getting a ton of love. Makes sense. Aaron Judge, going to be popular. Money to spend. And then, I mentioned Ben Gamble leading off. Games at 4,300. Chas McCormick and Jose Siri. Jose Siri had a monster night last night. So, yeah, all of Houston's going to get love, and they make sense. And then Pittsburgh also, as I mentioned. In tournaments, liking the White Sox guys. I like the Reds guys. And I don't mind some Seattle guys. I like both sides of that game, Carrasco and Seattle. I think have upside in tournaments. But really, the White Sox and Reds are the two places I want to go the most in tournaments. And that's what I got for you guys in cash games. It's all about the Astros, with the Yankees and Pirates like right there, and then some Twins also. Twins and Blue Jays is kind of secondary teams behind the top three, with Houston the clear number one as far as cash games go. That is what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want more content, more videos, more me, more write-ups, more any of that stuff, go check out the DFS 5-pack. I'll be having more stuff out this week as me and my wife get more acclimated to having the baby. It's a little bit chaotic for the first week or two, but things are getting back to normal. I'll be back on here with some more content. I appreciate your guys' support. Let's crush this Sunday, and I'll catch you on the flip side tomorrow.